What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have some big news to cover in today's video. We have some giant updates with oil in Russia. We have some big updates with this market's craziness and volatility. We have a lot of companies that are leaving their operations in Russia, and there's a lot of big news today, guys. Stick with us to the end of today's video, and make sure to let us know what stocks you are watching in the comments down below. There's a good chance that we'll take a look at them in tomorrow's video. But Tom, let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, we actually had some pretty big news today with Joe Biden. He spoke today and said that America will ban Russian oil. I know that the market was trying to price this in this morning, Mike, but we can see that crude oil actually ended up tanking off to the downside after his speech today, which was pretty crazy to see. Crude oil is starting to come back up now, but initially it started really selling off as the U.S. is going to ban Russian oil. And during his speech, he also mentioned how other U.S. companies keep suspending their business in Russia, even without being asked to do so. And I thought that really caught my attention because they're not even being asked to suspend business, but then we're seeing tons of companies like KO today come out with reports that they are going to go ahead and suspend operations there. Coca-Cola came out, McDonald's, Starbucks, a lot of companies have been suspending business. Even Intel, AMD, Visa, and MasterCard have over the past recent days. So there's definitely lots of crazy stuff with that, Mike. And CNBC has a really cool article talking about everything going on with Coca-Cola suspending their business. And then there's also some pretty big articles with McDonald's. I know they had a lot of exposure to Russia, and we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, and then Tom, how about RSX? This is the Russian ETF, and this thing is suspended. So it was going crazy for weeks. It ended up being suspended when the ETF was around $5.60. But just a couple months ago, this ETF was like $33 a share, and basically trading has stopped. So it's like a lot of things are really, really hurting Russia economically. And just like you said, Tom, like a lot of these companies like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, all these big companies are just leaving Russia, and they're not even really being forced to.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big thing to me. They're not even being forced to, but they're just choosing to do so, I guess, for the betterment of the world. So I'm glad to see it. I'm glad that the companies are taking the initiative and stepping up. And like Biden said, the government's not even making them do it, believe it or not. And that's hard to even believe because I would have expected the government to maybe try to step in, but they haven't really done too much. But as far as the SPY today, Mike, it was all over the place. Initially, after Joe Biden spoke, the S&P 500 shot to the upside in a big way. We ran all the way up to that 427 resistance, got rejected, and ended up closing all the way back down around lows. So like I've been saying over the past few weeks, that whipsaw is still happening here.
Yeah, it's been a crazy market, and it's only going to get more and more volatile. Tom, one thing though, tell us more about oil. So I know that Biden is banning Russian oil. What's going on with oil prices? I can see that they're still relatively high, but these oil stocks are all over the place.
Yeah, they are. And Russia actually warned today of oil possibly getting to $300 per barrel if we end up cutting off their energy imports. And since we're doing that, it looks like that might be a pretty possible thing. I'm not sure that we will hit $300 or not, but Russia did kind of threaten that. And crude oil did go kind of parabolic today. We flew down, we came right back to the upside, and the crude oil companies did very well initially and then sold off. Exxon and Mobil made new highs today, at least over the past few months, up to $91.50. And then we ended up coming and closing down around 87, almost back in the red there. If we would have closed down around 86, we would have been in the red by quite a bit. So honestly, these oil stocks pulled back quite a bit today intraday.
Yeah, and I want to say this. If you're trading any oil stock, whether it's Chevron, ExxonMobil, OXY, or anything like that, be prepared for volatility. These are some of the craziest stocks in the market right now, so just be prepared. They are crazy stocks. And on a different note, Tom, I've been seeing these solar plays really boom up. So while we have the price of oil just running up like crazy, we're seeing some of these solar stocks like RUN and then even ENPH, which is Enphase, really pop up. Like Enphase closed up almost 11% today.
Yeah, over 10%. That's a huge move out of a stock like Enphase. I'm glad to see the whole sector doing well. Even ChargePoint was up, but yeah, Enphase is looking great on the daily chart. And I've been seeing a lot of people lately might come out and say that they're looking for alternative energy alternative energy consumption. So obviously, like some people have talked about getting solar panels on their house. Some people have talked about getting electric cars, obviously, with the price of oil being so high. So it might boost this type of sector, Mike, and definitely keep it on the radar because 10% is no slouch. And to be honest, like if I look at Enphase on the daily chart, it looks like it's sitting right at a big resistance. So we could possibly see another breakout here.
Yeah, I mean, gas prices are basically at a record high, so it's crazy, crazy things. But then, Tom, on a different note, really quickly, looking at the market a little bit more in depth, we can see it's been all over the place. It was looking decent this morning after Biden spoke, but since then it just fell off the board. What are the main levels you're watching for the SPY for the rest of the week?
Yeah, for the rest of the week, this week, it's kind of hard to look at because the SPY just keeps going down in such a big way. But honestly, if we can fall below 415 here, I'll be looking for the SPY to start to break below the lows of this morning around 413.90. If we can pop below 413.90, I think we'll start to see the SPY pull down in a major way. But just keep in mind, that it's been all over the place. So if like, for example, if we see it gap down this morning, who knows? It might open up and then start to fly back to the upside like we've been seeing happen day after day now. So we have to be careful of that. But go ahead and look at 415 as the major support there, and then 413.90 or 414 after that. But if we break below it, Mike, we're going to start to be in a free fall. Like I have to go back to a 180-day 4-hour chart, and that's still not getting me back to the levels that we're falling down to. I would say if we start to break below this, though, look at 410 after that.
Gotcha. And then what are you seeing in terms of resistance? Like, let's say the market pops back up tomorrow. What are the most important levels to watch?
Yeah, today we actually hit a pretty big one around 427. I think 427 is a pretty big level there, so definitely have that one on the radar. But I think there's a lot of also like smaller levels on the way up too. So like if we start to pop back up, I have some resistance at 418, and then after that I have some resistance around 422. So definitely eye up those levels. I think 422 will be possibly a pretty big one tomorrow if we see the SPY start to pop.
Good stuff. All right, and we're even seeing some of these major companies like Apple and Microsoft take a decent hit. I saw Apple was down around 1% today, and they had I guess you would call it a presentation. So what happened with that?
Yeah, they had a pretty good event today, and I will say it got covered up by all of the Russian stuff that's been obviously stealing the headlines. But they had a pretty good event. They came out, they announced a new budget iPhone, which was nice, a new iPad Air, new color options for the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro, which is nice. They even announced some stuff with like the Mac Studio computer that's going to feature their new M1 chips. I know those M1 chips have been talked about quite a bit lately as well. Also, they have a new monitor. So sounds pretty cool, Mike. And to be honest, I'm looking at their studio display and it looks pretty cool. It has 5K Retina on it. So they're definitely announcing some pretty nice technology, although, they sold off with the overall market here.
Yeah, very true. So that's the main news for today. Before we shift over into the momentum plays, I want to give a giant shout out to Lil Paul 28 in the Discord. Thank you so much for all of your activity and support. Tom and I really appreciate you. And then Tom, do you have any final thoughts with, just the way the market has been moving, or is there anything specifically that you are watching for the rest of the week?
Yeah, I've really been eyeing up these airlines lately, Mike, and I'll tell you what, they had a pretty good recovery day today. I know they've been falling off the table in a big way. Like American Airlines really tumbled to the downside, but today they started really picking themselves back up. Same thing with Delta Airlines. Even the cruise lines had a pretty good day. So I'm going to really keep these stocks on the radar because with how much they've been going down and with how much they recovered today, I feel like if they start to pop back up, it might be a pretty good candidate for some intraday plays. So I'm definitely going to keep these on the radar, Mike. They had some pretty good movement, especially considering how negative a lot of stocks ended up.
There we go. All right, well, Tom, let's get right into these momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have ABBV to the downside.
Yeah, go ahead and make AbbVie break below that low of day today, right around 146.35.
All right, with the next one, we have good old Apple.
Apple, yeah, go ahead and make them break below 155.80. I think that's a pretty good support down there.
All right, and then we are watching RDFN, but this one is to the upside.
Yeah, good thing we saw Redfin go up. Some of those growth plays did pretty well today. So go ahead and make Redfin break out above $20.10.
Sounds good. So we are watching RDFN for a potential play to the upside tomorrow, only if it breaks above the level Tom listed. And then we are watching Apple and ABBV for potential plays to the downside tomorrow, only if they break below the levels Tom listed. But I definitely want to showcase some of the new features we have within Discord really quickly. So guys, definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. You get access to some amazing tools, especially if you're an options trader. You get access to some completely custom bots. Tom and I just added a brand new channel for some bonus setups throughout the day. Basically, as we see setups forming throughout the day, we're going to be calling them out. So, if you trade options and if you ever day trade, we have some awesome new channels and tools that are going to be pretty great. So definitely check out that first link in the description down below. Tom had some amazing call outs on AMD and Starbucks today, even with the crazy volatility that we saw. So great job, Tom, today on those great call outs. And if you guys are, if you want to try it out, you can cancel at any time, and we have a coupon running. So now's the time to try it out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. The market is going crazy, and especially these commodities, Tom, like oil, wheat, gold, and silver. They've been all over the place.
Yeah, they really have. GLD is really shooting to the upside. I think fear is really starting to creep into the markets, Mike. Russia made those bad threats of $300 per barrel oil. So we definitely have volatility ahead. Definitely keep the commodities on your watch list, guys. I think it's definitely going to be a crazy end of the week here.
You know it. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Remember, if you trade options, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. We have some awesome tools, especially for options traders. And best of all, when you sign up, or if you do, we're always adding new features. So you might sign up now, and in like 6 months from now, we might have brand new tools and bots. We're always adding new things. So definitely check it out. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching.